But you get to be Scout King, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm Scout King now. So Scout King.
All hail the Scout King.
All hail the Scout King. There we go.
You should talk like Lemon Grab.
I demand this campfire.
Welcome to Uncle Weepy's Depression Dungeon, the least helpful self-help podcast. Here are your hosts, Paul Armstrong and Jeremy Fuchsa.
Oh, boy. Looking at our trails, our Trello.
Yeah.
There's lots. Oh, did I do that? I
don't know, Urkel, did you?
I'm just looking at the ranked choice voting. Did you put that in? Or did I? That's
I put that in.
Because I've thought about that a lot.
Yeah. I really wasn't very knowledgeable about it, or actually I didn't know anything about it at all until last week. What was it that I listened to?
There's been
it was Radiolab.
podcasts.
It was Radiolab.
Yeah.
When they went through the Irish voting.
Yes.
There's
even some counties, I guess, in America that do it.
Maine.
On local.
Maine does it.
Yeah. I would love for America to give it a try. A more local elections, probably the best way to start.
Oh, sure. But yeah, I mean, if the folks out there listening haven't listened to, I believe the episode was called "Tweak the Vote," and it goes pretty in depth into how the Irish system, Irish democracy works, and they used ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very interesting. So let's, instead of just having a couple candidates, you got 15 candidates, and then you rank them via your choice. And it
basically means that your vote doesn't go away for the one that you didn't pick. The accumulation of vote tallies usually goes in favor of people who, who knows? It's just a more fair, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it seems
like a round robin or something.
Much more fair, yes.
It is. I mean, it addresses people's like, oh, I'm just throwing my vote away.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is for everybody that complains that their vote is wasted, then this effectively ends that complaint.
Yeah, and you don't have to rank everyone. That was
right.
another thing.
Yeah, you don't have to rank.
You
all
can just
15.
put one down if you want, but that means that
you are throwing away 14 votes.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting system. I think we should give it a try. I think the local elections make a lot of sense. Probably take longer for tallies, quite a bit actually, considering how long it takes now.
I mean, what did it say? I think for those Irish elections that they followed, it took like a week.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Because they tally all of them up and then they see collectively and they're like, all right, now we have to go again and do this again. And
yeah, because it goes in phases.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think America needs to chill the fuck out on wanting results immediately, because we often jump to such quick conclusions about winners and losers when it's speculative. It really is. It's based on exit polls, which is what people, doing user research, people say things that don't necessarily reflect what they did.
Nope.
I totally didn't vote for this, but they totally did.
They're just too embarrassed to say it.
Yep.
Yeah, or they just want to mess with the system. But it seems it's kind of like Christmas music on the radio. It seems to get earlier and earlier every year. It's like the polls close.
Yep.
And then 15 minutes later, 5% of the polls are in, and we are projecting our winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I get why people are excited and want to watch, but it's just
right.
All the punditry were like, well, it's not that big of a blue wave. It's more like a blue trickle. And then it's like, okay, it was pretty much a blue wave. And you have to consider that it's a strong economy. Mm-hmm. Satisfaction. People are pretty satisfied, except they don't like this government. That tells you a lot when they'll flip the party on such,
Yeah.
There's all sorts of, all these things are like, just like the immediate reaction is, well, it's not that big of a deal. Like, well, wait and give it time and things come in. You start to get the gravity of it and you're seeing the gravity of it with insane reactions.
Yep.
And it's all good. I would love to see America try it.
Yeah.
It might get rid of the partisan, the real partisan feel, the evenness that we feel.
Yeah.
It might really skew. Would we have to get rid of the Electoral College then?
I haven't dug enough into the research because that was kind of some of the questions that I was starting to think of. I haven't gotten to any answers that would tell me one way or the other on that or not, but it would definitely seem to me that you would, because this would, if you got to where this turned into presidential, this is how you did presidential elections.
Yeah.
Then, the votes count in such a completely different way.
Yeah, it's real
that you would vote, you wouldn't. Yeah, it actually would be real popular vote, but then it's I just anybody, if you haven't, you just start going and looking at it, because it does start to make a lot of sense if you really start to read about it. And I think it would be a way to replace the electrical college.
It's
where they give you a skill that no one can take away from you.
I love the electrical college. GE University.
GE.
I've read so much on electoral college, and it's still confusing as shit to me.
Yeah.
It's like, every state has this many representatives that represent the electorate as a whole, which give a vote for all of one candidate. And I'm like, what? I mean, I understand it in iniquity in terms of like, it was to make sure that all states felt equal, especially because most Western states or middle states had hardly anyone there. They didn't want to be overlooked or discounted or whatever. But that has now come to flip side where those small minority states have way more say than like California or Texas,
Yeah.
Like Wyoming has as much punch as California, and Wyoming has like, less than 1 million people in it, or stuff like that is, and they can completely skew whole elections, not just their state, but they can literally tip a whole election based on 2016 was an example of that.
Yeah.
But it's been happening more and more frequently where it's like everything seems even. It's probably not really true. That we're not as closely divided as we think we are in terms of percentages, not attitudes.
Right. Yeah. I saw a map last week where I wish I would have remembered where it was.
And maps are also completely not good. Like, if you look at all the red in the United States, it looks overwhelming, but like that's landmass, not
right.
People size.
And this map redistributed kind of how everything would go if the entire nation was distributed evenly. And so it sure was not anywhere near as red in the middle as you would think that it is every time that you turn on CNN.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the whole, the different topic but similar, the middle ground sort of idea. It's like, well, both sides are so partisan that the middle ground is the more logical. And it's not always true. That's a fallacy that, being in the middle is more accurate, where it's like, well, maybe the one that's so far right is so far wrong that the left and more left is actually more right. Correct, I should say. Or representative.
Yeah.
I don't know that everything being purple is a feasible outcome when you have like 33% of the country trying to tell everyone else what to do. It might be even less than that, actually, but those active Republicans, I think, are less than 30% now.
Yeah.
You have independents and Democrats make up most of the country.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's nice to have that all over and be on the other side of it. Ugh.
Yeah, for sure. Feels good.
What is even happening?
I always find it interesting that Rick sounds like Dan Harmon, but isn't Dan Harmon's voice.
I know.
He sounds exactly like Dan.
Yes.
Like that. Whatever. I'm assuming that that's Justin mimicking Dan.
Uh-huh.
It has to be.
Yes.
Because you just listen to Harmontown, you're like, it's Rick
I know.
talking. It's literally Rick talking.
Every episode is literally him. And then I thought,
I love when he gets stuck. His stutter stucks. He just doesn't burp in between yet.
No, yeah. Well, I read an article about 3 weeks ago about that, and where that whole thing came about was when they were doing some not even the pilot for Rick and Morty, but just test footage or a short as one of the prototypes. You know, they were recording dialogue, and he burped in the middle of a take, and he just kept on going, and they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Let's just keep it, and so it just became a thing.
Did you ever see his Cosby short that he did?
Yes, all the Cosby. Yes.
Yeah.
So weird.
He's a weirdo.
Yes.
He's a huge weirdo. Yeah,
it wasn't called House of Cosbys, was it? Or was
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, because it was all just a bunch of Cosbys.
Yes. All the Cosbys.
Yeah.
God, I usually do a better Cosby, but that was not. That was more like a angry.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Did you say an angry lunch lady? What did you say?
Yeah, I did. I said an angry lunch lady. All the Cosbys.
Eat the sloppy joes.
Yeah, you want the sloppy joes? They're sloppy.
I wish I could burp on demand. I'm not Foster Brooks, though. I can't do that.
Yeah, man. It's a skill.
It is a skill.
Every time I try to do it, I almost throw up.
Well, then you're not supposed to put your finger down your throat when you do it.
Well, that's what I'm doing wrong.
Just smack the back of your head. That's what you do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm actually hitting the back of my head. I don't know why. No one can see. Why would I do that? Why is that? Why is that when no one's watching, at least I do, I still act out stuff that I might be talking about, describing something with motion? It doesn't
like
help
gesticulating
anyone.
with your hands or
yeah,
more
a little
than
bit
that?
of both hand. Like, even if it's like describing something that I would be doing, I'll kind of do it. Like,
so
I salute you.
Talking...
Like, if I say I salute you, I would do it. I would salute. Don't have to, but I just do.
I think this goes back to you and you're making sure that the words are coming out of your mouth right. And
yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Well, I am definitely a hand talker.
You're connecting them.
I am a big time hand talker, and in my previous job, I got made fun of mercilessly for it. Like, what's wrong with you? Do you have to talk with your hands all the time? I'm like, yeah. It helps me come up with words. Like, well, you look like an idiot. Like, cool, thanks. You're a dick.
Yeah, that's real constructive there.
He was an asshole. Someone the other day, what's up with him? I'm like, I don't give a shit. I hope he's dead. Maybe too far, but I felt good.
Gets cancer of the AIDS of the vagina of the what was that? Do you remember that Patton Oswalt bit?
Yes. Oh. Who's he talking about? The vagina
Hilton.
Falls off. Yeah.
Paris Hilton.
That's an old one. That's like the Feeling Patney. Is that what that was on?
Yeah, I think it was. Yes.
Of course, we know that. The one with the soft candlelight. Patton.
Yes, soft candlelight. Feeling kind of Patton. That's exactly the one.
We got a list here. Should we go?
Yeah, so we've gone Trello crazy. Is what we've done.
I was gonna say we can give an update on the amazingness that is Trello, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you made fun of me. You made fun of me for something that I didn't even do. So I'm calling you out. You made fun of me for something that I didn't even do.
Nope.
Not knowing all along that this was something that you were actually apparently obsessive about.
Yep.
And projecting it onto me.
Yep. Because I wanted someone else to be on board with my insanity. I don't want to be alone. I'm going to be insane. I want at least someone else to come on board so that we can be Madcap.
Yes, well,
but it's also because it's a really great and helpful tool.
It is a very great and helpful tool. It is something that I've used on and off for a number of years.
But usually, always people think of it in terms of a business,
right?
Outcome like, oh, it's squads and sprints. I'm like, no, you hack it. There's a lot more things you can do.
That's right. And boy, have we ever.
Woo, howdy.
Hmm. Yeah, but yeah. So now, not only do I have the Trello board that you made fun of me of TV shows to watch, you have one that's bigger than mine.
Oh,
but then now we also have we moved the topic toilet to Trello.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And we're actually using it now as opposed to back when it was in a Google Doc. So,
yeah.
So Trello, put your shit up on a board. I don't remember if it was the last episode or the episode before you were talking about the Costco cinnamon bread.
Yes.
Do they bake it fresh every day? There?
Was I talking about their cinnamon loaves or their bread? Because they have streusel, which is not theirs. They sell it there, but it's just like in a pack with the other breads.
No, they have something that the sample guy said.
And then they have
make
loaves
it every day.
Yeah, they do. And then they also have their fresh baked coffee cakes, cinnamon bread loaves.
That's what he had.
They're also
that was
really
something
good.
That was something kind of major.
Yeah.
That was kind of something major, but see, I have this weird problem with Costco samples, and I'm not sure what it is.
People sneezing on them?
No. Like I have written down here that I have a philosophical opposition to Costco samples.
Okay.
It's not that I have a philosophical opposition. I'm not opposed to Costco samples. I think it's great that Costco wants to give samples. I have a difficult time accepting them.
Really? Like,
yeah,
you won't go up. You just won't go up and take it?
No, yeah, like we'll go on a Saturday and yay, it's sample day, and everybody's like, hey, Dad, you got to come and get it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. They're like, no, it's like the most delicious thing, and I'm like, I'll just have some of your quarter of a eyedropper full of Chex Mix.
Because you're afraid of seeming like a mooch or something?
I don't know.
Is mooch okay to say? Is that a bad thing to say?
I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that
an no?
Can you pronouncize that to something?
I don't know. Probably. Like anything in America, I'm sure it comes from a terrible...
I don't know. I have really honestly tried to think about it. Like, what is my hang up with this? And because I don't know that it's that I feel, because every once in a while it's sporadic, and it'll even be sporadic within the same trip.
So what if it's like their bread with like butter spread on it?
Then yeah, like the cinnamon bread thing that you're talking about. I
mean,
sure. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You took that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. What about like a tortellini or something? Like it's hot and it's in a cup.
I could flip a coin on that. On any given day, it could be a hell yes, and on other days, it could be a, I feel like running and hiding in the bulk paper goods aisle.
Is it crowd based? More people there?
No,
people watching?
No.
Haven't you ever had anyone? This will happen at ours, that they won't give it to our kids unless a parent is right next to them.
Huh.
I don't know why that is. Like, do you have a parent with you? And I'm like, I'm right here. They're like, okay, then they'll give it to them.
I've never run across that. I did the last time we were there. My oldest son tried waiting for pigs in a blanket, and they were like, it's going to be 10 more minutes. And we're like, you are not waiting for these pigs in a blanket. He's like, I don't want the pigs in a blanket. And I was like, no. And yes, it was ridiculous. And, in like 5 minutes in, we're like, seriously, we're going. But yeah, it's a big enough hang up that like,
is it shame? Like, what is your root feeling?
I don't know. Yes, there it is. There's a little bit of shame to it.
Okay.
And I don't know what I'm ashamed of. Everyone else is having a good time taking the samples. They want you to have the samples.
I'm trying to think of in our childhood if there's any places that gave away free samples and maybe a parent's like, no, don't take that.
I don't know.
That could be somewhere in there.
Maybe.
My mom was always like freaked out about germs or poison, whatever crazy thing she would read. Like, no, don't take that from a stranger. Whatever. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's stranger danger.
I don't know. I still have stranger danger issues. I'm still
an
thinking,
old woman. Oh no, you're a stranger. Oh no. I don't know. Stop, drop, and roll. I'm not taking your candy.
That's right. Maybe that's it. Maybe I have stranger danger issues. I'm not sure. I've thought about it and I can't figure it out. But it's a big enough hang up that.
Do you have any other food hang ups?
No food hang ups. It's just
public food hang ups.
No. It's just Costco. Well, I mean, just samples in general. Like, I mean, if a grocery store has samples and stuff, like I have a hang up. I have a hang up with kindly old ladies sitting behind a toaster oven giving things away.
Right. I think I don't take them just because most people are animals about it. They're like,
well, maybe that's
it. Give me that free sample.
Yeah.
Like they're like, calm them fuck down. It's just a free sample.
Exactly.
Now so that's my problem. I don't have a problem.
Down to something.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I just don't want to be one of those people.
Right.
Because I just seem like
I just want to be like a gentleman, kindly take my, piece of broccoli or whatever the hell it is. And,
lightly steamed in a crock pot broccoli.
Uh-huh.
Or they're lightly shaved yak feathers. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think my aversion would come with crowd. I just don't want to be another one in that crowd of people who are desperate to get it, unless it's something that I really, really want, or if I'm getting it for one of my kids because they're too afraid to go up and get them. Even our teenagers are still like, no, you can get it. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah,
you're 19 and 17. Just get it.
I'm not. I am the one who is the fear, and they're all just like, whatever. Give me all the crackers.
One thing I won't do is any of their drinks. I'll never take a drink, like the coffee or juice or anything like that. I don't know why. I don't want those.
Oh, man. That's a weird one for me. I did take one drink this past time that was really, really good. They have like some sort of like spiced ginger ale type of thing that was Christmas in your mouth.
Is it their normal, like the short stubby bottle?
Yeah, the little short stubby bottles.
We get those for doing Moscow Mules.
Oh, man, those are good.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good in the Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like JM or J something. McSqueeze. I don't remember, but I know the yellow label.
PQ McFuck Buddies.
I don't know Jurassic Park. Oh, it's terrible. It's nice carved though. It's a nice carved little recorder.
You've got like all Renaissance fair stuff over there with your tambourine.
And I just put something in my mouth. I'm like, I really don't know where this has been, and I just put it in my mouth.
And the queen surveyed the valley, and they looked upon the river of blood.
Have you ever read, there's this really great book called 1491 that is basically about the Americas before Columbus and what they have discovered and hypothesized about, the wild isn't as wild as we really think, that it was really cultivated and grown and controlled by indigenous people, Aztecs, Mayans, Native Americans. Yeah. They had major cities of, 100,000 people. It's like
prehistoric agrarian societies.
Yeah. or like the Vikings try to come over and they said it was so populated with people they just turned around and left, like in the 1100s or whatever it might have been. But it's a pretty interesting book with like historical stuff, like if some of those mounds that we see, those old ancient mounds, are just piled full of old pottery and stuff. Like they're created and managed, and it's kind of fascinating to me to think that we're way more beholden to cultures that were pretty advanced. Like we like to think as Rome as being advanced, but they were pretty advanced over here too. But where that collective knowledge comes from is always interesting to me. Like left to my own devices, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I wouldn't think of anything probably.
So you're saying that you'd be the guy in the village. I wouldn't say the village idiot, but you'd be like the guy. It's like, well, there's Carl. Or Kiergensen.
I would be the village caricaturist. Oh, there's that guy doing his mud paintings.
Oh, yeah. Why does he keep painting dicks?
That's probably, that was art that they did a lot back then.
Well, yeah, I guess that's really not much of a joke because it seemed like 90% of it was all dicks.
Fertility dicks. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Why is he drawing feet all the time? Just feet. People with feet on their heads, feet nose. It's really feet. I'm just going for a genre, like a thing. You know what what a genre is? Like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? I want to be an artist that's known for his style, and I'm about feet. And they're like, what's an artist? And what are you talking about?
It's an eyeball with 8 feet.
If you all come to my cave, give me 10 rocks to come in, I'll show you all of my cave paintings. That's how I would have been.
This one I call Contemplation of the Toenail.
This is called Oxen Pondering Deep Sins.
Media Corner.
All right. Where do you want to start?
Ooh. I think we could probably start it Forever.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
So, Forever, for people who don't know, is on Amazon Prime, starring Fred Armisen and Maya Rudolph. And it has a catch, a hitch, a gimmick,
a twist.
Not a groundbreaking one per se, but it's hard to talk about because it is a good one.
Yeah, I liked the twist,
or at least I kind of like the way. I liked it. It totally did. I did not see it coming, but then once it happened, I'm like, oh, okay, I know this trope to some degree, but it's hard to talk about because it all hinges a lot on the twist.
Yeah, it's all about the twist
to some degree. Honestly, this show is about, can couples actually be together forever? Like there was one part where he reorganized the dishwasher, and I just felt incredible shame because that is literally me. My wife will do it, and I will go through and redo it because she just didn't do it very well. And he did that same thing. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's me. That was one thing. Like his character is so passive, it was annoying. But then toward the end, he gets a little more ballsy, and finally it talks about his needs or wants, which, I've known couples that are afraid to fight, that kind of thing. Like, oh, no, we're healthy, we don't fight. I'm like, that doesn't sound healthy to me.
Yeah, no, that's usually not terribly healthy. It's bottled up.
Yeah.
That bottled up stuff that manifests itself in bad ways.
But we also have kids, and that changes the dynamic in terms of you have to talk about stuff and deal with stuff because you have kids.
Right.
And they didn't, so I'm wondering if that sort of changed their dynamic.
Oh, I'm sure it did, yeah.
Because they were, codependent, clearly. Did you not like the end, or did you not like the whole thing? You also have to be a Fred Armisen, Maya Rudolph fan. Like, it's quirky in that regard.
Okay, so I'll say this. Forever for me was like a maniac. I liked the beginning. I liked the twist. I did not love the middle. I absolutely loved the end.
The end was great.
So
see, here's what I totally see what you're saying. And I find interesting about the middle. Like, this was all metaphor. It was all symbolism. So what's her name? The only other main character that shows up.
Catherine Keener.
Yeah, she's jealousy. She represents jealousy in relationships. And she comes and she whispers quietly and, you know, in a way that's trying to seem like I'm empowering you, but I'm actually making you doubt and question. And this seems like paradise, but it's not. Or this seems like the greatest path, but it's not. We seem free, but we're not. That kind of idea, especially because it's biblical imagery too. Narrow path, wide path. If you notice, he took the narrow path, she took the wide path. Some of that's pretty hidden, but I thought it was somewhat
Did it take you your 2 watchings to figure that one out, or?
No, I haven't watched it again. I've only told my wife to watch it again.
I thought you said you watched it twice.
I wanted to watch it again, because I think my wife will like it. But no, I got that the first time. Just because I was thinking about it, I'm like, knowing Fred's tendency, that I think he's probably putting a ton of alliteration and symbolism and all that sort of stuff in it.
It definitely had its moments for me. It had its moments throughout the run. There was really only one episode that I truly was like,
the one-off?
Huh?
Did you like the one-off?
The one-off with the real estate agents?
Yeah.
No, I did not like that at all.
Because of the premise, or
just because I absolutely did not see. I mean, and it was one of those things that it made zero sense until the last 2 minutes,
right?
And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I see where they went with this, but dear God, seriously, it took them that long.
Well, I think what they were trying to show is the path not taken and the regret and the grass isn't always greener kind of idea. Like, that's why at the end, when you'd see that she saw all that happening, that's a representation of how she is worried. I think she's worried that she is going to be that guy.
Wow, see, you were thinking about this way more than I. Yeah.
I told you, I thought, like, it raised a lot of questions in my mind. Like, it just made my brain fire, which is why I liked it, because I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I guess because I that's my brain anyway. But like, I even started to think, like, it makes me even think, like, maybe our lives are these, you know, secondary dreams. They're not the primary, like, we're our dream selves of another self kind of idea.
Yeah.
I'm getting in spoilerish territory, but it's really hard to talk about this without spoiling.
I know it's a very difficult show to talk about. I do think it's a fun watch. It does make you think a lot. Yeah.
While being funny, but serious, but funny. And I'm not sure. I mean, I think the outcome is, well, one, I don't know if they're going to do a season 2. I don't think they have to.
I don't know how they could. I mean, it feels like it was pretty well wrapped up.
Self-contained, which was nice. Like, it felt like a good arc with a clunky. Like, I remember everyone talking about the one-off, and some people loved it, thought it was the best part of the show, and other people are like, it's fine. I thought it was interesting. I liked the chemistry between the characters a lot. Like, they bantered great, and they played off of each other really great. And I think that was supposed to let you know, like, isn't it such a shame that they had all of this chemistry and too afraid to do anything different than what they were used to, which is what the whole show is about. Is it worth sticking out with someone even though you feel like it's a dead end and it's all the same and nothing's unexpected and you have the same jokes and you have the same stories and you eat the same meal and you go to the same vacation spot every year? And if you change it, will it destroy everything? Literally. in that regard. They changed it, and it destroyed everything. Or do you stick it out and then regret what might have been? And that's what that episode was about, I think. I might be overthinking it.
No, I think you're exactly right. Taken completely out of context, you're right. I mean, in and of itself, I thought that it was a very interesting story, that one-off. But when I put it back in that context, I don't know, maybe I should have, not been watching it half asleep while drinking bourbon. But bad on me for that. But
like part of that annoyed me just because and I'm never a big fan of people being super secretive, cheating on their spouse kind of thing. That's never. I'm not usually a ray rah rah go do that. But I don't think that's what it was about per se.
No, I don't think that's what that episode was about.
No, like that was it
was a byproduct of
a mechanism for regret. And honestly, in the end, they're playing pretend. And then when you get the reveal that, oh, she's seeing all of this, then that's when it'll hit me. I'm like, now I see why they did this episode. Because before I'm just like, this is weird. I mean, it's cool and all, but why? And then when you notice that, like, I kind of went, oh, fuck. That's what I said when I saw it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I get it. It kind of clicked for me. Kind of recontextualized the whole thing real fast. I'm not sure how she saw it all.
And exactly why. And there were a lot of questions.
They kind of just left that open-ended. There's a lot of it that felt like I can't say with the show.
Yeah, you can't say it, but it's exactly what I thought.
There's two shows that I thought of.
Wait, there's two shows?
Well, there's another one that's older. That was on HBO.
Okay. Yes.
And I think that's the one that had some of like if you try hard enough, you can make stuff happen. Anyway, I love the teen.
Yes, I really did like him. Throughout the whole thing. So yeah, it was good. And the other thing that kind of hosed me going in was that I was listening to Reconcilable Differences, and Merlin and Syracuse were talking about the show. And they were doing it in the same way that we're doing it, trying to talk about it without actually trying to talk about it.
Oh, really? Oh, no. It's hard.
But, yeah, it's very hard. But the comment was that Maya Rudolph is amazing and has all this subtlety and everything. And Fred Armisen, even if you love Fred Armisen,
he's not a great actor by any stretch.
You can't help but notice that everything in his life is basically one big Portlandia character.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. Thankfully, he didn't feel like he was that much a part of it. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't a driving force.
And so, the moment that he did, the big-eyed thing that he does, I mean, it took me out of it.
I get that.
Because I immediately thought of that comment, and I was like, yep, there he is, another Portlandia character.
Oh, yeah. Going in, I figured Fred Armisen's going to be Fred Armisen. When has he ever not been Fred Armisen? So I kind of had that as a given, knowing, like, I'm going to watch this, and it's going to have Freddy parts. He's going to be real Fred-like. He's going to Fred it up.
Oh, yeah, he Freded the fuck out of it.
So that's kind of the caveat. Like, if you like that, then you'll love this. And if you don't, it's going to be hard. Thankfully, he's not a huge driving force.
But Maya Rudolph is awesome in it.
She's amazing. Kathleen Keener's very interesting, nuanced character, like a lot of subtlety. There's this kid in it that's just hilarious. I swear I've seen him in something else. I'd have to look.
Let's get on the IMDb here.
Madimba.
Noah Robbins. What's Noah Robbins been on? Grease Live. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yep. Yes, he was the owner of this startup. You made me feel calm when my brain was hot. That's one of the images with him. That building is a sideways tugboat. These are amazing. I forgot that show is not. I do enjoy Tina Fey's weird sense of humor.
So I'm about, I think 1 or 2 episodes away from seeing all of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, yes. Show's good.
It is very good. It is really, really good. Yeah. I'm totally in love with her. She is, oh God, she's adorable. She's hilarious.
Yes. Everything about the show hits. Like,
yes.
Just everything. It's so smart, so quick.
Such a good show. Yes. Well, it's quick because it's a period piece.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, think about all of the shows where they all talk like this. See, it was all real quick and it all hit real quick and it had, you know, even though they don't talk like that for the most part in the show, it has the pace of that. See? Yeah, that is just a quality show all around.
Yeah, it is. It deserves really, really all of its accolades. It are well deserved. Like I remember reading about it in terms of like the women comedians that it's pulling from, like Phyllis Diller and not Joan Collins, Joan Rivers. They all came up at that time when they weren't the typical comedy. Like I don't know if you got to that episode where they there's a really famous female comedian.
Yes, I just watched that one last night.
Yeah, her bit or at her house?
Both.
Yeah, and like the bits are just ridiculous and stupid and not funny for the 50s, but
well, and it made me think of Carol Burnett.
Yeah, Carol Burnett did that.
I mean, and
there was probably a ton
I really felt like it was supposed to be.
What's the hee-haw?
The Minnie Pearl. That's exactly who I was going to say. That's who I felt it was supposed to be. Was Minnie Pearl.
Was Minnie Pearl like proper and?
I don't know. It makes me want to go figure that out because
that part was great. You're just like, well, what?
Well, and the funny thing is all of that is basically what in the very beginning and really unless you take me to the guy's house, you're never going to probably convince me otherwise. But this is exactly how I feel about Larry the Cable Guy.
Yes. The gimmick does not represent the
right, exactly.
The real package.
I feel like if you really, really sat down with Larry the Cable Guy, you would get something very, very different than what you see.
Yeah.
And
so has she done her bit yet related to this comedian?
Yes. I think I'm like what? Like
you're
one
close.
Episode away from
you're
being
like
done.
1.5. Yeah, you're 1 or 2, but yeah, you're almost there where you're just like, oh my God, she was this close. Like that was really fun to watch her struggle with not doing well when she flies by the seat of her pants. Then keep focusing on the material that does work. Like she doesn't want to be boring or stale, but it's like, it's not about that. It's getting it right.
Right. But even when it was like that though, it just, the way that she presents as being so effortless.
Yeah.
Oh God.
She's as cute as a button.
Yeah.
Charming as fuck. Completely a mess. She's just a mess. She's a human mess. Yes. There's just such a little delight all through that show. Just tons of it. It's just sprinkled with happy dust.
I put Walking Dead season 9 on here.
Gave up.
You said you gave up.
I gave up right before the Negan season.
Okay, so you're a couple seasons.
Was that like season 6 or something?
Yeah,
or 7?
Season 6 or 7.
Yeah, I just got so tired of the redundant storyline. It just felt like the same. It felt like Silicon Valley got like, oh boy, it's the same storyline again. We're on our way to Salvation Mecca. Oh, and it's not that great.
No, I get it.
Oh, we're going to escape from there and we go to someplace else. Oh, it's not that great.
I get it.
And losing more and more characters that I actually liked, all that kind of stuff.
So I laid this out to you as a challenge on the board
the Rick,
to watch the final Rick Grimes episode.
I think I'd have to do it on AMC, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would. Yeah. And it's there.
Yeah. I can.
That was a hell of an episode. The final
Is there
Rick
context that's going to be confusing?
No.
Okay.
You'll be able to just pick up into it. It's no big deal.
Isn't what's his name gone? His son isn't.
Yes, he's gone too. Yeah,
that happened at some point.
That happened last season at some point. So Rick Grimes is gone. I'm trying to think how many episodes have happened since then. 2, possibly 3.
Yeah.
It is a slightly more interesting show now that he's gone.
Huh.
I won't say that the show has gotten better. It still is problematic.
It just feels like they don't have an end game in sight.
Well, I mean, yeah. And the comic book is also that way, even though Kirkman says he knows exactly where it's going and all that stuff. I mean, it just seems
why
to
would
go
you end something that you keep
on
making
and on
money
and on? Yeah, exactly. So the new storyline that is coming in now post Rick is an interesting storyline. It was a very interesting storyline in the comics, and it really kind of adds the creep factor back to the show, which has been missing since probably season 2 for me, honestly.
Yeah, it didn't have any of the terror of.
Right.
Well, there was who were those guys that carved W?
Oh, the wolves.
They had a creep factor to them,
right? They did have
much.
a creep factor to them. Well, so take the wolves and ratchet it up maybe 3 times. I don't know. You've probably seen things, being on the internet as you are, like anything about the Whisperers.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I mean, there's
what's the internet?
The Whisperers?
No, what's the internet?
Oh, what's the internet? It's a series of tubes. And so, well, I don't know. I don't want to say too much because
they whisper like? Remember in Lost when they would hear whispers before something happened?
Well, yeah. So it's kind of like this. So there was a herd of zombies and a couple people.
They don't call them zombies.
Walkers hid down in a ditch. And as they were hiding, just waiting for the herd of walkers to walk by, then they heard, "Where are they?
Ooh,
we have to find them."
Is it like the from Lord of the Rings, like those Nazgul?
Well, it's walkers, but as they're shuffling by, they're starting to talk.
No shit.
Yes.
So I remember hearing hints that the walkers will evolve.
Well,
years ago.
Well, no, that's not what's happening.
Oh, okay.
But
are they wearing walkers' bodies to get around?
So yeah, here, remember, ding, 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 ding. Okay, so so Whisperers are people who it's a band of people who have skinned walkers and made skin suits.
Yeah,
that they put on.
Yep.
And I'm
surprised they didn't do that a long time ago when Rick figured out when he covered himself, like just put their bodies
when he covered
on.
himself in the guts. Yeah. Well, these people have made skin suits.
Yeah.
And they will walk around in herds of 30 people, and they
never
go around completely
can't
be touched or harmed. But then
they take them off?
Huh?
Do they ever take off the suits?
Well, when they get home.
Okay.
But
they get into the next mansion and zip them off, and
yeah,
honey, did you wash my zombie suit?
So but then while they're out and about shambling around with the actual walkers, they have to make the noises too, and so then they can't go, "Hey Bob, what's that over there?" Hey Bob, what's that over there?
They have to sound all weird and moany.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what. And so that's
I didn't realize the auditory part was important for walkers. I thought it was mostly a scent, smell.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's a huge thing. Anytime they hear any sort of sound, they're always like, "Brr," they're like dogs. They're like, "At
least they don't run like in 28?
Like 28 days later.
Yeah,
fuck,
that's a good one.
So, yeah, I don't know. I would challenge you to watch the Rick Grimes episode and maybe like the one afterward.
Is there anyone even left on the show?
Oh yeah, there's still people.
Like Michonne's the only one I could think of that.
Michonne's there.
And
what's her head?
Cool McBean's motorcycle guy.
Yeah, Cool McBean's motorcycle guy. He's still there. Long-haired gravy lady. She's still on the show.
Long-haired gravy lady?
Yeah, long-haired. I guess she didn't. She used to be short-haired gravy lady, but now she's long-haired gravy lady.
Oh, you mean the kill the children woman?
Yeah, kill the children woman.
What's her name?
She's
Diane.
on there. Carol.
Carol. Yeah.
Carol. She's on there. She has a Rastafarian boyfriend who used to have a tiger. There's a boy who grew up, and another child. Oh, the baby Judith.
Yeah.
She grew up, and so now they've done a couple of large time
leaps
jumps
in time
within the past season or so. And so now we've come up to the point that now Carl is gone. Now you've got his sister who's like 8,
right.
And going around being a badass. And I'm not saying it's a perfect show. It still has a lot of problems, but it is more interesting now that he's gone. And that final episode was a good episode. It was a very, very good episode.
Was it a very special episode?
It was on a very special episode of The Walking Dead. You'll feel all the feels. So weirdly enough, I have to go make a phone call. But before I go make a phone call, we have to wrap up this episode by saying that the next time we come back,
there will be a new caveat.
We're widening the circle.
Yes.
I don't know that I want to say too much about it. I kind of want to make it just be a surprise.
We're broadening our base.
We're broadening our base. I mean, I'll say this. I'll say as much as to say that there will be a third voice joining us regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of as far as I want to take it at this point.
I think that's good.
I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah. So a new host coming.
Stay tuned.
Next time. And that should be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I'm excited for it. Our host is excited for it.
Oh, good.
So got some tech support issues to take care of, but I think it'll be good.
Yeah, tech support, fun.
Mm-hmm. Yay! Fix the microphones.
Skype.
You have questions or topics for the show? Call 816-535-1094 and leave a voicemail. Or reach us on Twitter @Uncle Weepy. If you enjoyed this show, first rate and review the show on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. Your review helps the podcast robot suggest this show to other listeners. Second, consider supporting the show on Patreon. Patrons of the show get access to exclusive after-show material. Several levels of support are available. Visit patreon.com/Uncle Weepy for details.
I'm Adam Beebe.
I'm Barry Johnston.
We're the hosts of a new podcast called What's Your Weird Story?
Our podcast is based around your stories. Weird stories. Strange stories.
True stories.
We're building a community of listeners and storytellers.
So if you got a weird story, maybe you saw a UFO, or maybe you had coffee with Bigfoot, There are lots of weird stories out there, and we want to hear them all. So catch us on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all your listening platforms, all the places you can get a podcast, and follow us on Twitter at What's Your Weird. Follow us on Instagram at What's Your Weird Story. Join us on our Facebook page. If you got a weird story, we want to hear it.
New episodes are released every Tuesday.